Hey guys, my name is Hashim Ahmed and welcome to this hack project tutorial. In this video, we'll be learning to create an application that allows users to create flashcards. So what exactly is flashcards? Now, it's a very popular tool used by productivity hackers to memorize or remember stuff visually and more quickly. So our memory has a limited capacity. Now, over a period of time, we start to forget things and we start to get tired to sort of memorize stuff. So what flashcards does this is an example of how it looks in the analog form, but we'll be creating a digital form of this. Um, Now, before I get to the purpose, now let me show you guys what a flashcard looks like. Now, if you want to understand this in any analog form, which is pretty much what we're going to do today, is that we're going to stack a deck of cards that's going to be about any specific subject that you want to master in. Now, this is the most popular use case is in language vocabulary reading or memorization. So, for instance, if I want to memorize what konnichiwa means, um, what you will draw is probably okay. Let's say, for example, you want to know the meaning for bonjour. And by the way, I just want to throw it out there that I'm not French, so I'm just like sort of saying this to illustrate an example. So if I want to learn the word bonjour, what I can do is I can draw a sun or maybe a window overlooking the sun or some scenery with a bed behind it, or I'm sorry, like I mean next to I mean like just before the window to illustrate that it's good morning. So I'll have the clue written on one side, and on the other side I'll have that. So I'll write those things, pictorially. So when I do that, I will stack the word a deck of cards with all the words and concepts that I want to memorize or sort of remember. And what I'll do is the ones that I'm able to get right, I will stack them in one side, and the ones I don't know, I will stack them on the other side. And the ones I don't know, I'll take a break, come back, and go through those again. So we'll repeat this process until we know and we have guessed the right answer for all these cards. And that's what flashcards is, and it actually works pretty well for a lot of people. Now, the reason I'm creating this application, although there are so many tools already to let you create digital flashcards, is that A, you can do this for free, okay, and B, you can actually distribute this with your friends, and most importantly, you can create your own sort of flashcards game. Now, what I mean by that is, now other people can create flashcards um, using the way that you think is ideal for you. Now, for some people, they think in words. So maybe you want to write, just give some words here instead of a picture. Some people like to think in pictures. So the clue will be a picture, and the answer or the thing that you want to memorize will be a text. So, however that is that you want to memorize, or if you have a better solution to this, or if you have a different use case to the same kind of a thing, you can use this technical stuff here and kind of like mash this up to suit a different use case. You can hack this project into something creative. And you can do this all without a single line of code, and the thing that you want to know is just spreadsheets. So there's just a little bit of a syntax that you want to know, and it's really just one single cell that we're going to do that. And with the rest of it is just going to work like magic, okay? The tool that is going to be doing all this magic is called Glide Apps. Now, a Glide Apps basically uses Google Spreadsheets as the place where it will store data, whether it's yours or users, okay? So what we're going to do is going to go to Google Sheets and create a new blank sheet, okay? You don't want to choose any template there. And call it whatever you want the app to be called, and you can change this obviously anytime. um, you want to create two sheets here. The first sheet will be called deck, and the second sheet will be called cards. Okay. Um, and as the word says, deck will be the list of all, like, well, the projects or stuff that you want to memorize, and cards is a subset of deck. Okay, so there'll be cards decked inside a thing. Now you might guess, okay, well, I said it's a subset, but as you can see here, these are just next to each other. Well, in Google Spreadsheets, we can't really specify that because we're going to convert this into an application. This card is a subset of deck. Now, how we're going to do this is, well, we're going to define all the columns here. And the first row is used to define all the fields in your application, or all the stuff that you want to save in your application. So anything that is saved from the second row onwards counts as the data in your application. So in the first row, in the first column, let's start from cards sheet here. And the first thing you want to save is the actual stuff that you want to remember. Now, it's okay if you want to call this anything, because on the application you can display something else. Now, this is only for you and for the developer's purpose. And the clue itself. Now, you can keep this clue as either a text, an image, or even a video for that matter, as a clue. And you can also keep this a file or anything, just literally. You can have any number of columns. Now, if you know how Glide works, you can like make use of this creatively and do fun stuff with it. Now, basically, in a card, there's only two things: an answer and a clue. But what we're going to do is we're going to create, we're going to implement this in the application, we're going to create card when the user wants to create a card. But each card has to go to a deck. And we're going to define, and we're going to add another field here called deck. And this deck will be referring to which deck that he's creating. So, deck will have a title, and if you want, you can have a thumbnail image just to represent what this thing is about. So if I want to say basic Japanese, well, maybe you want to put some of your favorite Japanese anime or something like that, or something like that, okay? But one thing that you want to add here is, well, the actual cards itself, okay? Now, the cards, okay, will come from here. Now, the way it recognizes, now when I create a new card, okay, this value, okay, if it matches with this, all right, this, I'm sorry, to be honest with you, if it matches with this, what will happen is that particular card will appear in that deck. I don't know if I'm making that like perfectly clear, but let me go ahead and implement this first, so you can first implement it and see it for yourself. Okay. Now, just for the sake of demonstrational purposes, I added a example. Let's go ahead and create that in the application itself. Okay. So we're gonna have another section where each deck will have a set of cards, and you want to say that the name of this column is cards. Okay. Now, what you want to say is this cards, okay, we'll use the cards, well, from the cards sheet here, the first section is just for that. You want to type in column, and now you want to define which column should match. So you want to say deck here, and then you want to say multiple. And what this is trying to say, this is the actual name of this column. Cards refers to, well, the name of this thing here. And deck is where we're going to save the title from the deck here. Whenever I'm creating the deck here, inside that deck will be an add button to create a new card inside of that. So we can get this value from here because you already created the deck, right? So that value will be over here. So what we're going to say is we're going to say, okay, we want to display all the cards here, all the cards from the deck, because deck will contain the title value, okay? And there can be multiple cards in a deck. And that's what we're saying here. Now, how this looks like and stuff, we're gonna configure this, and we're gonna do some creative things here. Like if this doesn't work for you, like actually we need to do something. It's actually crazy because you need to do something manually. You need to copy the title value over here every time you do that. And I want to say this really clear up loud that you don't really have to know the syntaxes, okay, anymore. You can do this visually, but I highly recommend that you know the syntax anyways, because sometimes when you're creating the whole template, A, it's much faster to do this with syntax, and B, when you get stuck somewhere, it's kind of useful if you know how the stuff works. So if something messes up, you can go fix it up from the sheets, and everything gets fixed on the actual application quickly. So let's go create a new application here, and let's create. Actually, before I started this video, I created another sheet. So just ignore that. Okay, let's go create a new application using that sheet. You want to hide this cards here because you don't want to display all the cards in your application. You only want to display the cards in a specific deck. So you want to change the display the properties to the deck. Inside the deck, you want to change the style to tiles. I'll tell you guys why. You want to add an add item. We'll define that later. You want to go to tabs and hide the cards. Okay. You don't want to you don't really have to add icons because we're not going to need this thing because there's only one section in the whole application. If you have multiple sections, then yeah, maybe you want to add icons because it looks better. Okay, if you go up here, by default, um, Glide will have um, every column as a text value. We'll remove this because thumbnail is actually an image, so you want to change that to image picker. And that way, I'm going to make this required, and you want to save the value of whatever he uploads into the thumbnail image column. So you want to say Japanese basics. Okay, I can give him some, I don't know, any value here. I mean, any picture here. I'm just gonna give something here. And once that's ready, click on add here, and it looks weird, so it's okay. You wanna just hide that. You wanna show the actual image. Okay. Now once you open this up, again something's weird. You wanna hide the details. You wanna match this up again. Image column to image thing here. That looks a little bit better. Now we have a deck. Inside of this is the cards. Okay. Now there's a little bit of a problem here, and the problem is that okay, we want to display all the cards. Well, we don't really have any cards here, and let's go ahead and actually change the. Oh well, before I do this, let's go ahead and add the button to create the card. Okay, let's go ahead and add a button here, and I'm going to say create a card, or you want to say add a card, whatever works for you. Okay, and you want to say the action is a form. You say add a card. Okay, that's the name. Click on add a card, and it says deck value. Now what happens is that you need to type in the deck value from, if it was Japanese basics, now you need to type in Japanese basics, and only then this card will be saved in that deck. But we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to remove this, and we want to save this. We want to take the value from the deck that we came previously from. So I'm going to click on plus here, and under this there's a new section called special values or columns, and you want to take the title value from the deck and save that onto the deck value. So I don't know if I'm making sense, but let me show you guys what happens. So if I create, well, by the way, if I go create a new card here, let's call this, I think Konnichiwa means welcome. Oh yeah, by the way, clue is not a text thing. If you want to keep it as a text, you can do that. But in my case, I like to remember things visually, so I like to keep it like this. I'll say welcome is the answer, and the clue will be Konnichiwa. I'll click on submit. And what am I learning? I did the opposite actually. Okay, let me put this up here. The list doesn't really show yet. So this is what happens if you go to the data here. Okay, if you check the columns, you would see that the cards value is still empty because what is happening is we're not really displaying any cards here. And let's double click this. Is there any way I could like edit this? There should be a way. So this is the problem with the earlier version of Bubble. Like I'm sorry, this version of Glide is really early. Okay, so maybe the version by the time you're watching this video, these things are far better. It's okay. So what you want to do is you want to go here, and if you check here, this value is empty. And the reason it's empty is because we really didn't save this, and we cannot do that. Okay, so the best way to fix this is by take this title value and then paste it over here. And it's as simple as that. So now if you refresh this will display the cards that come from that deck. Now it still looks weird, okay? And that's okay, but what we want to do is we want to go to layout here, go to inline list, and you want to change the display type to maybe gallery or columns. And as you can see here, once I open this up, it gives me a weird thing. So let's go ahead and change the image to, well, the actual thing here, and the details to, well, nothing. So it's a welcome as the name of the clue, and the answer is down there, Konnichiwa. So that's the card. Now, if you want to create another card, we can add one more card here. Maybe Instagram is the answer. I don't know. This is not really the appropriate stuff for Japanese, but it's okay. So I'm gonna create a new thing here. Click on submit. I'm gonna click okay. And sometimes this image doesn't really work properly. I don't know why, but you can add as many cards as you want to. So let's go ahead and add some other image. Like what image is this? Okay, let's add this one. I don't know what the word is for mountains in Japanese. I'm just looking at it like this. So I open this up. It says mountains. So every time I want to add this, I have to, like, you don't really have to add this, but it's okay. You can say something like tag, and you can create a new deck. If you keep this required, it will not allow you to add anything without without adding a thumbnail image. So I don't know what this is. Okay, let's add that. Let's add that image and then click on add. So that's a new deck. I can add cards, but every time I add that, well, if you notice, what happens is that this value needs to come over here, right? So this video is brought to you by Zero Code. So if you are looking to build a dynamic website for your business or for yourself, you can hire these wonderful guys at Zero Code who have a lot of experience with developing applications using Bubble, or you can buy one of their premium quality templates, and which will take a lot of time to actually develop. So if you are interested, go check out the link in the description. It also helps this channel. So yeah. So if you want to fix this, just take the tech value here and paste it over here, and it should work fine. I mean, if you go to tech, and if I add any card here, it should actually work. Okay. Although in this case the answer is the question, but you need to make the clue thing compulsory. Now you can change the display of it however you want. You can change the theme. You can make it bold. You can make it black. You can make it pure white. You can make it dark with some color or something like maybe like this. However you want to, right? So if you want to keep it pure white, let's keep it like this. And if you want to share this application, copy the link to the application. And what happens is every time I share this application, they can just QR code this, go to this web address and sign up and log in, whatever. And by the way, if you want to allow the users to only see their own list of or deck of cards, you want to do one thing here. Go to settings, go to privacy, want to say public with email as a thing, and go to the layout wherever you're displaying a list, and especially the deck of cards. You want to go to the layout here, and you want to go to the features. You want to say user data, filter role by signed in user. So only the cards that the user created, it will be done. So when you're doing that, you want to go to the deck of cards. You want to go down here, and you want to save. You want to go back to the spreadsheet here and go to the deck here. You want to say created by. You want to save this because that's really important. Let's go ahead and say add. Go to plus here, and we want to save the created by value also. So that's going to be user email address. Whoever is the person logged in, that will be saved on the created by. So every time I create this, let's go to image thing and make this optional, by the way. So if I say, I don't know, maybe a tech quiz or something like that, click on add here. I should be able to see my own stuff here. But let's go and check out here. As you can see here, it works, right? I just need to copy paste this every time here. If you guys know a better way to like solve this problem, let me know, because this is something that even I'm trying to figure out. But it's kind of better if you like create a deck of cards, like all the default set of cards, like maybe some memorization or something. You can keep this as a template and allow users to like create a deck inside of a deck or something, like just allow users to create cards, and they can test it out. So they can just create cards, not deck, okay? Because when you're like saving an element inside another element, creating subsets, it's kind of complex on Glide. So just don't worry about it. Go over here, and what you want to say is say go back to this part, features, and you want to say, oh, by the way, let's say created by. There you go. So and well, you want to copy this and you want to say the same thing over here. So that way only the values created by this person will be displayed. So I guess we're done. So we can also match certain things as well, add filters as well if you want to. Okay, so if you want to share this as a desktop application, by the way, now this can work as a web browser. You can actually, the way it works is, if you can see over here, you can simply scan the QR code or go to the website, and then if you go to the home screen here, the way it will work is this kind of stuff will appear on Android. This is for Android. It will say add to the home screen, and it'll actually save this like an application, and this is how it will look on iOS. Actually, even on iOS, it says, do you want to add this to the home screen? If you just say this, it will work like an application. So once you do that, you can use this like an app. If you want to transfer this into like a Mac application, just download this application called Flashcards, and just rename this app to whatever, not the email address, I'm sorry. You want to change the name of the application to the address of your application. So let's read this, just remove the HTTPS because you don't want to do that. And then once you do that, just open this up. And in my case, I've already used Flashcards too many times, so it's not allowing me to do this. But in your case, it should allow you to do that. That's the application that you can share with the users, then zip it in, like, or make a DMG out of it, and then do it whatever you want. That's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, Please be sure to check out creatorschool.com for more interactive tutorials and content like this. And if you feel like following me on social media, you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And you can subscribe to this channel for more video content like this. And I shall see you guys in another video tutorial very soon. Thank you guys for watching.